Welcome to the Countdown Movie Show Special Edition. I am here with my incredible son, Joshua Blodgett. Joshua, say hi to the audience.
Hello, I'm Joshua Blodgett, and I'm super excited.
So what happened to your voice? Why did you lose your voice?
So I was at the Angel game, and I was cheering on, gotta love the Angels, even though they're not the best. But then I was cheering them on just like a bunch, and I just lost it,
Wait. But tell the audience what you were actually doing, because there's something happening at Angel Stadium that's very specific. So what was it that you were doing that you lost your voice?
Okay, so there's the tarps off celebration, where you should take off your shirt and you should start cheering on the team, and it's just a bunch of it's just super fun with everybody.
And so you were one of the people with your shirt off.
I was
cheering.
one of the crazy guys that were just doing it.
And
crazy.
you do want them to sell the team?
I do. I feel like, why would you not? I mean, he doesn't do anything,
Oh my God, I love it. Okay, so we're actually here to talk Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Yes.
With my fantastic son Joshua. I've talked about Josh a lot on the show about how much he is a big Spider-Man fan, and I'm not just saying that. I have memories of you liking Spider-Man from the time you were, a little guy in our arms. Well, how old were you in that picture where you're wearing the Spider-Man outfit where you're with mommy at Castile Elementary?
Oh, probably 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I guess 2 or 3 probably.
And you, every Halloween, you dressed up as
Spider-Man.
Yeah. That was it. It was Spider-Man
or Harry Potter.
Spider-Man. One time you did Harry Potter, but it was mainly Spider-Man or Angels.
Angels. Harry Potter was maybe 2nd, 3rd grade.
Okay.
And 4th, 5th Angels, but kindergarten, everywhere. It was just always Spider-Man.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, so you know that Justin, Paul, and I have been talking about these movies. You've been chomping at the bit to get on the show and saying, hey, when am I going to be on the show? So now you're here. I'm excited you're here. So first of all, we just finished watching Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yes.
What do you think about Spider-Man No Way Home?
I love it. I feel like it's perfect. It brings not the perfect movie, but for Spider-Man, I feel like it just brings everything together. It's just good way to kind of combine all 3 of the movies, with Tobey Maguire.
3 of the different franchises together.
I feel like it does a good job at because obviously Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield don't have the Avengers, so it's not MCU, but I feel like they do a good job at bringing it together. I love it. It's one of the best ones.
So what are some of the things about the movie that stand out to you that you really love?
I like the little comedic parts. I like the little funny, if they make a joke about the web fluid or something like that. And I love the difference of, I don't know, the difference of how the Spider-Mans act. How Tobey Maguire's, if you look at the part where they're all on the Statue of Liberty, when they all come landing in before they go after Electro, I think it is, they all kind of are squatting in a different way. Tom Holland's is a little bit more his leg is more stretched out kind of, but then if you look at Tobey Maguire, he's more in a squat position, not a squat, but a crouch kind of. So I feel like it's totally different. But I kind of like the little how they're all different, but they're still the same,
What are in terms of that movie? Because just having watched it, I was struck by how great. I mean, it's just such a great movie.
Yeah.
It's a great movie all around. But there's so many moments, and there's such a build to that film. I feel like I don't remember it being so lighthearted in the beginning. I had totally forgotten how sort of this is kind of a lighthearted piece in the beginning, and then suddenly this stuff starts happening, and I really love, I had forgotten so much of it, but I love how Doctor Strange jumps in with this wait, you asked me to change the universe before you just made a phone call to see if maybe you could have an effect on, and I love that. Oh yeah, I guess I could have. Wait, is that a thing? It just shows his youth and,
it shows
his inexperience in life and stuff like that. How do you feel about the more dramatic moments in this film?
I'm not one for very because I'm still little, so I haven't really developed into the really heartfelt moments. But this movie, I love it. There's not a scene that I would skip or I'd be I don't want to watch that, But I mean, I feel the heartfelt moments are really good, but then also the really like the actiony moments are really good. But like especially the end and stuff, it just is like it's just so good.
I feel like they do a good job of balancing drama and comedy. There's like very deep drama, and then there's a joke.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, and Paul talks about this a lot. I mean, they do that really well generally in the MCU,
Yeah.
in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They do that really, really great. But I think this movie does it really, really well, especially when we're dealing with like the death of Aunt May and stuff like that. How did you feel about the death of Aunt May? What was your thoughts on that?
I thought it was really good, like how they did it. I thought it was just like so interesting when like obviously she's like dying or whatever, and then Happy comes, and Happy just like already knows, like doesn't even need to go, you know.
Right.
And then I think
he's been through enough
yeah,
of those situations that he knows. Yeah.
Yeah, I think because I think obviously there's no Uncle Ben, so I think it's good that they were like they kind of like it was one of them, you know. But I feel like it's so good because especially like Green Goblin, because like I feel like he's one of the most like notable villains of Spider-Man. Like if you think of a villain of Spider-Man, I always think of Green Goblin or Doc Ock. But yeah, I love it. I love how they did it, and it's not the same as just like in the Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. She doesn't get like shot or something like that by a robber. It's totally different.
Totally
so,
different.
Yeah,
totally different. She just basically, I mean, he gets completely betrayed. In that moment. One thing I wanted to mention when I saw that, okay, did you notice anything about her death that's different than some other movies?
No.
So she, as an actor, I'm assuming it was she who decided, but maybe it was the director, decided that when the character died that she was going to die with her eyes open, which is very realistic because like when people die, they don't necessarily like close their eyes and look like they're sleeping. They just, they die.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. So a movie that your mom directed, a short film when she was studying filmmaking back at Pasadena City College, and I was a very young actor and we were just starting to date. I was in one of her student films, and in the film I played a character that died, and I also made the choice to die with my eyes open. And it is no small task to do that because you make that choice and then you're like, oh crap, this person has more lines. So you got to let them play it out while you're like staring.
Yeah, you're like,
So it reminded me of that story.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to share this with Joshua. You've
cool.
never heard that. So yeah. Okay, so let's talk about some of the other things. What do you think about Doctor Strange in this? Because I know, because you're not necessarily a Marvel person, right? Like you love Spider-Man, but you're not necessarily a Marvel person.
I mean, I haven't seen any of the Doctor Strange movies, but I like his character in it, and I like how it's because like obviously Tony Stark died, so I feel like it's kind of like another like kind of like not father figure, but like kind of just a little bit more like adult that he can kind of like talk to. I feel, yeah, but I don't really know like any of Doctor Strange's like story, but I feel like it's kind of like it brings a different aspect, especially with Ned. The way how Ned and Doctor Strange are kind of like connected a little bit. I feel like it's really, really interesting.
Do you think we're going to see Ned be the bad guy in Brand New Day? Do you think that's going to happen?
I mean, I have a feeling he's going to do something. Either he's either going to be a villain or something like that. I've heard multiple things of people thinking like, oh, he's going to like find out that Peter had to erase everybody's memory and, like he's going to get mad or whatever, and then he's going to become the villain.
Right.
I don't know if it's going to be exactly that, but I have a feeling he's either going to become a villain or something's just going to like happen. I mean, obviously in the trailers you can't tell anything.
Right.
But it just seems like something's going to, I feel like they wouldn't just like kind of push that off to the side. I feel like something would have to happen, or like he's going to like work with him or somehow or some way, It
feels like there's some kind of setup going on.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it definitely feels like there's some kind of setup.
Yeah.
Obviously, for those of you who've seen the film, you know that in the film, it's the convergence of these universes, and all these different Spider-Men come into the different universe, and all the bad guys come into the different universe. Now, Joshua, you have a love and affinity for all of the Spider-Man movies,
yes,
including the Andrew Garfield ones, which Paul and Justin do not like.
Yes.
Talk to me about why you like, and we're just switching gears a little bit, and we'll come back to No Way Home, but we're going to talk about the Andrew Garfield ones real quick. What is it about those movies for you that you like?
I like Andrew's, how he portrays Peter Parker, because like in Tobey Maguire, he's not like a skater, and even in Tom Holland's not like a skater or anything like that, but in Andrew Garfield's, he's totally like already kind of is like a skater. So I feel like he kind of takes his like skate, like when he did tricks on his skateboard, to his web like slinging. So I think that's why it's kind of different than the other like Spider-Mans. I feel like also I like how they did like more of a video game, like when he like was swinging through the city, especially in the, I want to say it's after the Amazing Spider-Man 1 when he's.
Wait a second. Are you aware that those movies were originally released as 3D movies?
I feel like you've told me that before, but I totally forgot about that.
Would you have liked to see it in 3D or
That
no?
would have been so cool. That would have just been so awesome to like, especially like just see like it totally like, especially because I feel like even some like the scenes when he's fighting the lizard, even in like the sewage and stuff, they totally could have done that 3D. I feel like it would have been so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so Amazing Spider-Man, which one do you like better, Amazing Spider-Man or Amazing Spider-Man 2?
I kind of like the Amazing Spider-Man, like the first one, because I like origin stories. I like how like you kind of realize like how they become the character who they are. But I don't know. I like them both. You know,
his origin story in that movie is a little different than Tobey Maguire's, and of course Tom Holland's. We basically just get him talking about that he got bit by a spider and he's Spider-Man.
Yeah,
and that's all we really get.
Yeah.
Of course, Ned grills him throughout it. But which origin story do you kind of like more? Do you like the Andrew Garfield version, or do you like the Tobey Maguire sort of Tom Holland version?
I kind of like the Tobey Maguire. Probably the Tobey Maguire version because I like how he like kind of he gets bit or whatever, and then he kind of like does the wrestling or whatever, and then he like eventually like is just trying to find the guy who killed Uncle Ben. But yeah, I really like Tobey Maguire's origin story and how he makes the suit, but it's not fully a suit. And then isn't his name in the wrestling something like Spider-Man or something like that?
Yeah, I think he says it was not Spider-Man, it's something Spider. I forgot what he calls himself, and the guy's like, "Oh, that's terrible."
Yeah,
and then he says, "Spider-Man."
Yeah.
So what do you think about J. Jonah Jameson being in all of these?
Because is he not in Amazing Spider-Man, or is he in?
Oh wait, no, J. Jonah Jameson is not in all of these. You're right.
Yeah,
he's not an amazing. Thank you for correcting me. Yeah, he's not an Amazing Spider-Man, but he's in the Tobey Maguire and then he's in the Tom Holland ones. What do you think about that?
I think it's cool to like see how like his character's not changed throughout at all. Like still like is like has a love-hate relationship with Spider-Man kind of thing. I feel like it's interesting how it finally gets. Like how it finally comes out that Spider-Man is Peter Parker.
Right. Because
I feel like he's been trying to find that since the original Spider-Man.
Right.
I think it's so cool how they like still have the Daily Bugle and stuff.
Right.
But in No Way Home, on like when they're filming it says the Daily Fix. It doesn't say Daily Bugle. So
that's interesting. I didn't even notice that.
But I think it's cool how they keep his character the same. They don't change it.
Right.
He's totally just the same guy, And I really like how they how he does like the final like how he says that in some ways that Spider-Man is Peter Parker.
Right.
I feel like he would be the only person that could do that.
Yeah.
Like there's no one better that could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of the Tom Holland ones, you have said many times to me that Far From Home is your favorite. I think is that correct?
Yeah, that is true.
So why is Far From Home your favorite? Because we just covered that in the last episode, and we kind of all three feel that there's like a little bit of a hole in the storyline and stuff like that.
I totally agree with that.
Okay, but you agree with that, but it's still your favorite. So why is it your favorite?
I think it's my favorite because I feel like it's kind of like I love the music. First of all, like the music, I feel like it kind of brings like a different vibe, and I feel like it also is like the start of just like Spider-Man kind of going in the footsteps of Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And I feel like when he gets the Edith glasses and stuff like that, it just kind of changes the story.
Right.
And is that the first time that anyone has ever found out, other than Ned, that he is Spider-Man, or in the other movies was there?
I think it's just Ned. Well, obviously May knows.
Yeah, obviously May. But in the other movies, was there like for Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield? I can't remember. Was there any that found out?
Yeah, there's always just like this underlying like with the older Aunt May in the Tobey Maguire one, there's always this sort of like hint that she knows.
Yeah.
But she never really says it. And then in the Andrew Garfield ones, there's definitely a hint that she knows, but again, never really says it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. But I think it's kind of cool how she does like find out.
Yeah.
And like how I think it's kind of funny where like when they're in England and Ned is kind of like like kind of like teaching her about like how to be a friend of Spider-Man,
Right.
which I think is always kind of funny. And I think I love how like MJ and Tom Holland, like their like relationship, especially because they are like married in real life. So I think it's just so easy, but it looks so realistic because it is real.
Right,
So
right.
I think it's just such a fun movie. I love it.
It is. I mean, I think they're all fun. I mean,
Yeah.
you watch them a lot, and of course now that Brand New Day is coming very soon,
Yes.
they've been on TV, and you're always watching them and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, this really this is your Star Wars,
Yeah, it
right?
is my Star
Like when I
Wars,
was
yes.
a kid, it was Star Wars, but for you, it's like Spider-Man's on, I'm watching that. One thing that struck me in our conversation that I was just sort of thinking about too was like the differences in, like you were talking about the differences in the Aunt Mays, but also the difference in the love stories.
Yeah.
I think the storyline with the original Mary Jane, I think that's very interesting, although by Spider-Man 3 it gets a little weird,
Yeah.
strange, and I don't know what's going on there a little
Yeah.
bit. But it's still a very good storyline. I like what's happening there. And then the Gwen storyline in Amazing Spider-Man, I love that. And of course MJ and the Tom Holland ones.
Yeah.
And I think it is funny that Andrew Garfield really did date her.
Yeah. For like 2 years, right? Something like that,
Yeah. And then, of course, Tom Holland is now married to Zendaya. So I don't know. I think it's kind of cool that they have this. The other thing I noticed in watching No Way Home that struck me again today, and I talk about this on our show quite a lot, is that I think every great story somehow comes back to love.
Yeah.
I think it always comes back to and it doesn't have to be romantic love. It could,
No,
I
yeah.
mean, Ned and
Yeah.
Peter love each other like
Yeah.
they're brothers, and I was struck so much with that love in this film, and they have like this brotherly love between the
Yeah.
Spider-Men.
Yeah. It's totally, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So let's talk about the ending. Obviously, it's an epic fight. It's awesome. We've got all these bad guys converging.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think they do really well is I think it's tough to have a lot of bad guys and make you care.
Yeah, because in Spider-Man 3 they didn't do that.
That's exactly
So
and this is why you're brilliant. You took the words right out of my mouth. They were not able to accomplish this in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
I feel like they tried.
Yeah,
But
I feel like
but
they
I
tried,
don't
yeah.
but they didn't and they certainly learned the lesson by the time they got to No
Yeah.
Way Home. Now, of course, No Way Home has a lot of stuff that is payoffs that is very earned.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Over the years, right? But I think they did such a good job of having these different characters, these different Spider-Men, having these little moments, these moments between these guys, and even the moments between the bad guys where they're kind of, maybe they want to be better, maybe they don't want to be better.
Yeah.
The one thing that did strike me comparing Amazing Spider-Man 2, where we are introduced to, was it Electro? Is that his name?
I think it's Electro. I don't know.
Yeah, where we're introduced to Jamie Foxx's character.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's very nerdy and goofy and silly in that film. And then we get to this one, and in this, him being in this universe, for some reason, he's not goofy and
No,
silly.
he's not.
Like,
He's
not even a
no.
little bit.
They're like zero.
There's one moment where he refers to his history and he says, I don't like who I was.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I think that's interesting. There's a part of me that goes, was that Jamie Foxx saying, I don't want to play the nerd again?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the real deal was with that, but I feel like there's something there that could have been what that was. Okay, so we're at the Statue of Liberty, which I just realized I didn't know that it had the Captain America shield. I knew that they were redoing. I forgot that was in there. What did you think about that whole sequence? Because there's so much going on.
I love how they do it at the Statue of Liberty because I feel like that is like New York's probably like the most like famous thing there. So I think that would be the only place that they could do it. I really like how all the villains don't come in at once. Like obviously Green Goblin comes in late, but I really like how who do they start out with? They start out with Sandman.
Sandman is who their first guy
yeah.
is. That they're at first they're trying to
all do it at once.
And Peter from the MCU is the only one who understands how to work on a team because he's sort of been around teams, right?
Yeah.
But the other two guys are only used to working solo, and I love that moment where they have this like revelation of like, I don't know how to do this, and he's like, I do. This is what we do.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really, really neat.
I mean, the only time that maybe Tobey Maguire would have done it was with Harry in Spider-Man 3.
Right.
Would that be the only time?
Which, by the way, was one thing we did mention as we were watching it. There's a moment where Ned asks Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, if he had a best friend, and he
Yeah.
said, yeah, he died in my arms after we fought each other, and Josh and I were both saying that that's actually not true.
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
They technically fought side by side,
Side by side,
and
yeah.
then he got killed in that action. So I thought that was interesting that they actually got that wrong.
In the beginning of the film, Spider-Man 3, they do fight each other in the beginning, but then
that
it
is
is
true.
later.
Yeah, yeah,
it's at
yeah.
the end when he does die.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. So back to our regularly scheduled program. We're in the fight scene at the end. There's a couple of iconic moments. You mentioned it. The when they do finally team up and
Yeah.
they do finally figure out how to work together as a team, as a group. There's this moment where they're jumping around and they just look so cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so iconic.
Yeah.
All three of the Spider-Men.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Yeah. Yeah, I love how even how they're how they're in sync. Like even when they throw the the cure to Tobey Maguire with Sandman, it's so cool how they throw it to each other perfectly, then they throw his hands up, it's just perfect how it's so they just do it so they easily. Like they've been doing it forever.
Well, I think it also shows, to me in my mind, I was referencing, this shows how their Peter Tingle,
Yeah.
how their spider sense
Yeah.
really does influence their actions and their moments
Yeah.
and how they interact just in life, right? Because at the very end, when Tom Holland Spider-Man is just beating the crap out of Green Goblin, he has this moment where he, when the other Peter Parker stops him, that he finally stops, and then he turns around and grabs the thing, and they change him. And you can tell, he knew it was there.
Yeah.
He knew that he had that instinct about it. So, and it was the same thing for Tobey Maguire when the Sandman basically was enveloping him,
Yeah.
and he's his hand was still up, and he knew he was
Yeah.
going to catch it. You know what I mean? So I love that.
Yeah, I feel also when the Green Goblin comes into the fight scene, I feel it is when he comes in, when he says, does the Spider-Man want to come out and play?
Right.
I feel like Tobey Maguire is kind of because he says that to Tobey Maguire in the first one. So I feel like he kind of senses it.
Right,
and,
right,
it
right.
sends him. Even when they cut to him, it's cool how they paid an homage to when he said it to Tobey, not just Tom Holland.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. And then of course we end with this very heartfelt moment where he's like, "You're gonna forget me," and in the same token, I feel like we see Peter Parker grow up in that moment, right? He really does realize sometimes in life you can't get everything you want.
Yeah.
You can maybe get close. Mm-hmm. That's the closest we get, right? Is you can get close. How did that moment make you feel? What did you think about that?
I like how they when Doctor Strange comes in, he's after when Ned opens up the portal, but it's him. I like how he does it. He just he does Peter does not change it. He just just let everyone forget who I am. He's just let it be. Even I think it's really cool when he's kissing MJ or whatever, and then he's about to say I love you, and she says wait until I see you next.
Yeah.
And then after, I mean, he doesn't say it, but
right.
I mean, I think it's just cool how they did that, even with Ned and stuff, when they do their handshake and stuff. Yeah.
That moment's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to pay off that I love you in Brand New Day?
I think they will. I think somehow it's going to come out that it happened or whatever, and he's going to make a reference or something, and then he'll tell MJ and then he'll tell Ned or something like that,
Love that.
Especially because even in the second trailer of Brand New Day, you can kind of tell that he takes MJ and swings with MJ, but she's not worried or crying because I think she can sense that she's already done it before.
Right.
But I feel like that end scene is just so beautiful
So
with
powerful.
them. It's just amazing.
Should Brand New Day have been made? Do you think that what we just saw was the end, should have been the ending?
I don't think so. I think it's good that they're making another one. I think I think this will really just kind of sum it up and kind of end it how it's needed to be. But yeah, I'm glad they're making another one just so we can kind of see how, because Tom Holland's Spider-Man never really had the heartbreaking moments. Even in No Way Home, that was the really in Far From Home and Homecoming, he's kind of just battling himself.
Yeah.
But then in No Way Home, he kind of has to battle the other people and battle having Aunt May die.
Right.
And then so I feel it just kind of it gives everyone's I feel I've seen everyone's been wanting the heartbroken Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Right.
And I think they're finally getting it, which I think is really good. And I think it shows us what would have happened if it kind of like if it was terrible for him, like if
it all fell apart.
if it all fell apart.
Yeah.
Which
I'm excited to see that, by the way. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I'm interested to see how, I was thinking this is the most alone Spider-Man we're going to ever see.
Yeah.
Because Tobey Maguire still has his Aunt May.
Yes.
And he has Mary Jane.
Yeah.
And his, basically, he loses his best friend, but he's basically got his girlfriend and who may become his wife and all that stuff, right? Andrew Garfield, of course, loses his girlfriend, but still has
and his Uncle Ben.
And his Uncle Ben, but of course has his Aunt May. By the way, speaking of that, one of the things that struck me watching this recently was I when they're talking about, Tobey Maguire's character says, well, my Uncle Ben said, with great power comes great responsibility. He said that, blah, blah. And then I thought it was interesting that Andrew Garfield, the death that affects him the most, even though he does lose Uncle Ben, and that does initially affect him, it's the death of Gwen that really is the change for him. And he kind of has this storyline that we never got to see, which is him going to like a dark place, which I think would have been, if they would have made an Amazing Spider-Man 3, would have been really interesting
it would have been
to see him. And I think that's the one thing that seems to continuously happen with Spider-Man as a story is we sort of start out innocent, and then by the end we're sort of like beaten up by life, both literally and figuratively, and then we've got this sort of part where now we're grown up, but we're still out there trying to fight, and we have to find our spirit again. We have to find the joy again. So I think that's what's going to happen a lot in Brand New Day.
Yeah.
What do you have any other thoughts about what you think is what we're going to see in Brand New Day?
I mean, in Brand New Day, I don't know, like, I don't know, like, what's going to happen at all. Like, I don't have any new, like, ideas what's going to be in it.
Okay.
But,
what do you think about this Sadie Sink thing?
I don't really know. I don't know, because there is that one villain who they say, like, they can't see or whatever. Like, it's, like, they're not allowed to see, but only, because I think this is in the trailer, only Spider-Man is, like, immune to it, so he's the only one who can fight.
Oh, I don't even know anything about this. Okay, all right.
So because I've rewatched the trailer like 3 or 4 times because I love it so much. So so I've like watched it multiple times and just kind of like seen the other like kind of like deep dive into like what they're kind of showing in the trailers.
Right.
But I don't know what they're gonna do. I feel like something's gonna happen with Ned, like something will happen with Ned with his like magic.
Yeah.
But then I think also with MJ something will happen, because I mean even in the beginning trailer she's with a guy, but then I think it's gonna somehow come out like some way that like Peter still like loves her.
Right.
So I feel like it's gonna be really interesting to see how like that unfolds. Because I feel like it will come out that he did have to make everyone lose its memory, or Happy will find out. Someone will find out.
Right.
I don't know who. At all.
Someone's gonna
know.
Jumping back for just a second, way back. What is, because I don't think I've ever asked you this question. Okay. What is your very first Spider-Man memory?
My very first.
Like,
Spider-Man
why
memory.
do you remember why you even started liking Spider-Man? I mean, you were so little,
I remember when I was little, I had this book, and it was a book of, I think it had like 5 or 6 Spider-Man villains in. Do you remember that book? It was like a bigger book. It was all of Spider-Man.
It was like a little kid's Spider-Man book. Yeah,
of like basically summing up Spider-Man 1 through 3 of Tobey Maguire's. I think that's like my first memory.
Nice.
That was like because I remember reading it and reading about the Lizard and reading about Doc Ock and Sandman. Those were the 3 that I've like visibly remember reading and like seeing the pictures, and then like finally watching the movies. It was kind of like cool to like, because like I always saw them like in the book, but then I never saw the movies. So then like seeing them like that, I think that was my first memory. And then also of course like when I like just had like the Spider-Man suit and like around the house and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I think those were probably the first.
You wore the Spider-Man suit a lot. You had a great Spider-Man mask that was awesome.
Yeah.
That I absolutely loved. It was so cool. And of course, more recently, and by more recently, I mean literally a couple days ago, you got what? Oh,
so I got from Amazon Spider-Man web shooter, which you shoot, like literally it's on your hand, press a button down, string it, like string comes out of it, and it has a suction cup on the end, so it can attach to things, and then
and it does work.
and
I've seen it work.
It
It's
does
pretty
work.
fun.
You can grab stuff, and then it does retract back to you,
Right.
which is sick. So it's like my favorite thing ever. I'm 13 years old and I still play with toys. So
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, before we end, let's rank the Spider-Man movies. So most favorite to least favorite. Go for it.
okay, so well, probably last is probably
Are you gonna start? You're gonna start
last.
Start with what you like. What you like the least. Okay,
Like
so
the
we're going
least.
backwards.
Yeah.
All right.
Probably Spider-Man 3
Okay.
because I mean it's Spider-Man 3. Kind of
Right.
why? God, I don't know. This is really hard. Oh shoot. I mean, I don't know. They're all number one for me, but I mean, but I don't know. I mean,
That's great. That's great.
I mean, Homecoming used to be one of my favorites, and I still like love it. I just watched it a couple days ago, but I mean, I would probably say it's high up there, but it's not super high. I would probably say it would probably go Spider-Man 3, probably maybe Amazing Spider-Man 2, and then maybe the original Spider-Man, then probably Spider-Man Homecoming, then Spider-Man 2, then Spider-Man No Way Home, and then Far From Home.
Wow.
Yeah. Wait, did I say Amazing Spider-Man or no?
I think you did.
Yeah.
I think you did. Yeah. Wow. What a list.
Yeah, I mean, because it kind of jumps back and forth. Because I had just when was that? A couple weeks ago, I watched Spider-Man 2 or 3 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I just watched it again with you guys a week ago.
Yeah.
And I love it. I think I like Doc Ock's character.
Yeah.
I like how he starts out even with Norman Osborn.
Yeah.
He starts out good scientist. Peter is so interested in them.
Yeah.
And then by the end, they're just kind of totally just distraught and whatever. And then even in No Way Home, they refer to Doc Ock when he was oh, I had Spider-Man in my hands. I was going to kill him, you know. And then he only thinks of the bad memories. But then really, if you look back at Spider-Man 2, Doc Ock helps Spider-Man save, is it MJ or something like that?
Yeah.
Because they...
You mean in No Way Home, he helps save her, right?
No, but in Spider-Man 2, he doesn't help MJ with the power of the sun.
Oh, right.
He kind of what does he do? He puts it in the water.
Right.
He takes it, puts it in the water, and then he dies.
I mean, ultimately, he makes the sacrifice to kill himself to save the city. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had never really seen Spider-Man 2 or.
So
Spider-Man
wait, was your
3.
number one No Way Home? Or no?
No, Far From Home.
Far From Home. Still okay. So Far From Home still your number one. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
But I mean, No Way Home's just so good. I really like how they brought in all 3 Spider-Mans. It's just so cool.
It's just an epic film. It's
cool.
just such an epic film.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Is there anything else we're leaving out of your Spider-Man joy? Because I want to wrap us up, but I don't want to leave anything out if there's anything untouched here.
I don't think so. I'm just so excited for the new movie. I hope it's really good. I hope it just is everything that everyone's wished for the movies.
Well, I can't wait to hear your thoughts on the new film after we go see it, which we're going to go see it at the El Capitan. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
So we'll look forward to that. You can check us out on all of the socials at the Countdown Movie Show. And if you can't find us there, go to thecountdownmovieshow.com and you'll get to our YouTube page from there. In the meantime, I'm Sean Blodgett. I'm here with
Joshua Blodgett.
And thanks for listening.
Yeah.